got a chance to see the first 2 episodes of the Skeleton Crew, Star Wars that is. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zenka. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And talking about comics, we did get in the new issue of Lords of LA. This is the first issue here. It is by Vampire Mob set in 1950s Hollywood. But we have a whole bunch of covers that are coming in because we have collectible covers, and these are all going out to my my donors from Kickstarter. So I did order a few extra. If you would like one, I do sign them. This is issue 2. This is the Helene cover. I do have 2 more that haven't come in yet. This is the Katana cover. And then we have the Samurai cover. Yep. And that's Cat, so that's the wrong book there. But the artwork is pretty good. It's very adult. This is plenty of sex, blood, and gore, and fangs. And it's a story of Lena Morgan. She was a lounge singer in the 50s. There's also Marilyn Monroe is in it because it's the 50s as well. And she is turned into a vampire by one of the mob family bosses, but she doesn't know which one. So 60 years later, she comes back for her revenge. Good stuff. All right, plus, if you are a fan of good writing, we have Timothy Zahn, who created Thrawn for the Star Wars universe. He and Kevin J. Anderson, who did Dune, a bunch of others, Brandon Easton, who wrote several episodes of Peggy Carter for Marvel. All these guys have come together for the 50th anniversary of the Green Hornet, and it's going to be a massive anthology. And you can go to greenhornetnoir.com, or the link is in the description below. We are going to be launching that in the beginning of January, or the end of January, and if you click the link, you'll be able to get notified about when we launch. So it's a quick one-click deal. All right, so definitely check that out. But let's jump into the Skeleton Crew. And anybody who's been following my channel knows that I dropped Disney Plus when Ahsoka was finished. I was so disheartened by how bad Ahsoka was that I decided to just cancel my whole subscription. In fact, oops, wrong side. Here is my least favorite person playing Ahsoka. And it's really not Rosario Dawson's fault. I think she was directed that way because nobody would play a character so stoically unless they were directed to do so. I mean, her whole idea of playing Ahsoka, it's like, I'm acting, and then acting. And that was her whole shtick, playing Ahsoka. It's so bad. It's so bad. And the costuming is horrible. Even the girl playing Sabine was just, everything in it was just horrible. And I was a big fan of Rebels and Clone Wars, and I just couldn't stomach it. It was just horrible. And of course, I didn't even go near The Acolyte, just the amount of reviews. And I did watch it, kind of. I was watching it while people were reacting to it, and it was just, that looked horrific as well. So I wasn't going to watch this show either, especially when we had Kathleen Kennedy, still the wrong side. This is why I don't act, because this way it's the opposite of what I would think it is. But Kathleen Kennedy is still in control of this thing, as is Dave Filoni, and they're both brain dead at this point. But, you know, they still have jobs, which is great for them. You know, if I was making, $5, $6, $10 million a year or more, I wouldn't want to give that up either. Hey, I'm 80, I'm 90 years old, I'm 110, I'm still working for $10 million a year. Hey, sign me up. So she ain't gonna leave until she's dead. It's just the way it is. Oh, Granny, I'm the Granny now. I'm the Granny. I'm coming. I play Star Wars. Yes, Star Wars. All women Star Wars. This is Kathy Kennedy. It's horrible. It's horrible. But she'll be in there till she'll be on her deathbed and still green lighting. I green light the movie, green light. We're into 2035 right now. If we keep green light, one more, we green light. Awful. So I did not have high hopes for Skeleton Crew. The idea of the Goonies in space sounded horrible to me, and I just haven't been excited for anything Star Wars for a very, very long time. And I think that my sentiment is echoed by most people that are Star Wars fans. There are the shills that love the Star Wars Disney, and I mean even the media is calling it Disney Star Wars now. It's just there's just a very wide divide, and I wasn't a fan of the prequels, so I'm not even a fan of the prequels, much less the sequels. So for me, there's 3 movies and that's it. And I did like Rogue One. I liked the second half of Rogue One. I actually liked parts of Solo. I thought that there was some elements in there. It just shouldn't have been an origin movie. Every time they tried to allude to certain things that make Han Solo, that's where it screwed everything up. Oh, here's what the dice means. Here's my last name and why I got it. And it was just, and the Kessel Run, they should never try to explain all that. That was just bad moves across the board. But so there was a couple of movies in there that I was okay with. But for the most part, Disney Star Wars is a crash and burn for me. I did like the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. So that's the last. If you like, in fact, if you look up there, you can see my Hot Toys figures of the Mandalorian and Grogu, Boba Fett, and Bo-Katan. I like the Boba Fett in the black. For whatever reason, I like the black better than I like the gray from the original. So that's why I got that. But no, Boba Fett was bad too. There was a couple of pieces I did like. I did like him riding on the back of, that's, I want to say Sarlacc, but that's not it. The Rancor at the end and stuff like that. So I had a couple of things that I kind of liked. But I was not a fan of this, but everybody said this was good. So I said, all right, I'm going to give it a shot. So I figured I'd purchase for a month and just to see what the Skeleton Crew was like. And I agree and disagree with some of the reviews that are out there about it. So I gotta say this, I am excited to see the next episodes. And I know this is written for a younger audience, and maybe that's what it takes. Maybe because this isn't written for like a baby audience. It's because there are some, or baby audiences would be kind of scary, I would think. But it has a charm to it. And the characters are likable. I know what everybody's going to say. Well, Fern is not likable. So let me go through what these is generally about. It's about a planet that has been hidden from everyone because there's treasure on it. So we have this almost like a treasure planet type of storyline on top of a I kind of want to say it's got a whole pirate theme to it, and they really lean heavy into the pirate theme. So it's almost got these Lost Boy, Peter Pan type of storyline going for it as well, and everybody's going to say the Goonies as well. Okay, the Goonies as well. But it's a fish out of water type of storyline where you have the male character, Wim, who wants to be an adventurer. He wants to be a Jedi. So obviously the stories of the Jedi have seeped into this planet. And all we ever see of this planet is like droids telling you what you can do. So they go to it's almost like a middle class type of suburban town. And that's all we really see of it. I thought that when everybody said it looked like a suburban town, but it still had some really good production value to it, like the design work on the houses and, you know, how the buses work and all that stuff. I know it's grounded in our today's time, but it still had that look and feel of sci-fi. And I appreciated that wholeheartedly. And the fact that we finally can get to see aliens is great too. You know, so they're not just, you know, here's some horns on a character. No, we're seeing like full prosthetic or, you know, masked type of aliens. And I appreciate that too, which is gives us that otherworldly thing. And Neil is his best friend, and I don't even know the species name, but he's like a Max Rebo, like an elephant character. And I think that the kid that plays him does a really good job of it. In fact, he has the least amount of credits of all of the other characters, all the other actors. And they really went wholeheartedly to get these actors. You know, Christopher Ford and John Watts are the two people that created this. They were also behind the Spider-Man Tom Holland series. So John Watts, he directed all three of them. Christopher Ford directed the last Spider-Man movie, No Way Home. So if you like that, how are you not going to like this? Because it has that same tone to it. So these guys know what they're doing, which is probably how they got this gig. And I think they're doing a good job with it. And they just didn't take, you know, no-name kid actors. The kids are doing a really good job of pulling this off. I know what people are going to say, like Fern is too rough and tumbly. But that's kind of how Ahsoka started. And I have no problem with her trying to prove herself, because she's always trying to prove herself to her mom. And yes, she's bossy. And I knew some girls like this, so it's not out of the realm for me. But at the times where she has to look afraid, she does. And she's done some major stuff. I'm trying to think of her name here. Ryan Kira Armstrong. So they really did a good job of casting these people. Like the boy played the voice of Encanto. Oh, she was the kid in Firestarter. She was an American Horror Story for 6 episodes. She was in Black Widow. She was the kid in Tomorrow War. I mean, she has some major stuff. And then him being from, you know, Encanto, the girl who plays KB, I haven't seen any of the stuff that she's done, but she has a pile of credits too. All of them have a pile of credits. Neil has the smallest IMDb list of all of them. But they really went out of their way, and I love KB's look. Kind of reminds me of one of my characters as well. But the little thing that she has, I don't know what that does, that it keeps going up and down, that allows her to see, I guess, different spectrums. I don't know. I'd like to know what the reason is she wears that thing, because she doesn't need it, because when it pops up, she can still see, but she sees differently. And so I'd like to know a little bit more about that, of what's going on there. And then you have SM33, which, of course, if you turn the 3s backwards, it spells Smee. And that's is where they really lean into the pirate side of things. So he even has a peg leg, and he has a rat living in his head. I love that. And I even love what Fern did. I killed your captain, so now I'm your captain. I really liked all of that. The pacing is really good. I'm not bored at any sense of the word. Nick Frost is one playing SM33 or Smee. I love this guy. He played in one of my favorite shows. He was, which is Into the Badlands. He was also in Hot Fuzz, I believe, and the zombie one as well. He's done a lot of stuff. Fighting with My Family, he was also the dad in that. He does a lot of work. especially like in the UK and stuff like that. But he's really good. Shaun of the Dead was what I'm thinking about. And for him to take on, just a voiceover role is phenomenal. Anyway, he's doing a really good job. And I love how they're leaning into this treasure planet, Peter Pan type of situation. It really works for me. And I'm excited to see the next episode. I like where they're going with this. And yeah, there have been other reviews that say there's really no story here. And if you remove the Star Wars label to it, is there really anything special to it? And I still say yes. If you remove the Star Wars emblem to it, I would still watch it. It doesn't feel like Star Wars anyway. Because if you remove the fact that he wants to be a Jedi, remove that, and just make any of the aliens some other species other than what you've seen in Star Wars, and you still have, in my opinion, a really good sci-fi show. Now, is the plot tiny? Sure, it's about a bunch of kids that are going on an adventure, and it's it's a fish out of water storyline, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with just these kids going on an adventure and growing as characters, because I guarantee you we're going to see a change in Fern throughout. We're going to see Wim get stronger, and I like the fact that they have their own little sidekicks, and they're always at odds with one another. And she's like, "Oh, the boys." I laugh quite a bit, when they went into hyperspace and they all screamed. I laughed at that. So I think it has a lot of heart, and I think that the characters are interesting, and I'm waiting to see where this goes, and I'm waiting to see what the mystery is about the treasure that's on this planet that everybody thinks is fictional. I'm into that, and I'm waiting to see what these guys do with these pirates. And are they? I think they're younger because, of course, I did a Star Trek pilot that I'm still pitching right now, and the characters are in their 20s, and it's the same type of thing where they become pirates, but they're trained. They're trained to become pirates, but they're a fish out of water originally. So it's a little bit similar, but these kids are really young. And you don't even know if they were, about to be put into slave labor, because the one prostitute or whatever says to them, children shouldn't be here. It's dangerous for children. So you kind of think that, they might be sold into slavery or whatever they may be. And Wim isn't even thinking about any of that this could be, and they could be in a really bad situation. And if it wasn't for SM-33 coming and saving their butts at the end there, they probably would have been in a lot more trouble. But the fact that they have that the pirates want is basically keeping them alive. And now we'll see what happens, because the fight scenes in the beginning, the laser battle in that, I thought was done very, very well. It was exciting. And of course, we have Jude Law that was in that beginning. He only is basically in the 2 episodes. He was in the very beginning, but we don't even know it was really him in that thing, because he was in the suit, and a helmet. And then at the end is the first time we actually see him. But anyway, I'm looking forward to the next 2 episodes. I really like this. I disagree with the reviews that said that, which was Film Threat, that said that kids deserve better than this. And it was Alan Ing that said that, and they were giving it 5 out of 10. I disagree. I think it's a fun time. Yes, there's not a whole lot of weight to it, and that's what they were comparing it to. Is like, hey, I saw Star Wars at 7 years old. We can handle a darker show. That's true. I mean, I was 7 as well. But just because we can handle a darker show doesn't mean a lighter show can't also be good. I want to see where this goes, and I hope that it stays the course and gives us a little bit more rounded. I hope that we get a little bit more, stuff that happens with the characters, and I hope that the characters have arcs, which we haven't seen yet, and maybe that's why people are saying that there's not a whole lot of story, because we don't see any arcs that these characters can really grow to within an 8-episode period of time. But let's see. I'll keep my fingers crossed. And again, I'm excited for the next episode. I'm going to give this thing an 8 out of 10. So, yeah. I love sci-fi. I can't help it. And if it's halfway decent, and maybe everybody's right that we have been given shit for so long that, we're seeing just a little bit of a good thing and we're lapping it up. But hey, I'll take that little little bit of good thing, because maybe that'll lead to a bigger good thing. We see that if this does well, maybe they'll use that formula without it going into that woke mentality, where we can continue to get better and better sci-fi shows. I hope that I can sell mine. I'm have another meeting with somebody to see if they can help me sell it as well. And I think the trailer is still in the description below if you want to see that. It's called Renegades Amanara. All right, because I also did a pilot called Star Trek Renegades back in the day. All right, well, that's it for me. I talked about this way too long as it is. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, if you want to jump in on Green Hornet, you can go to greenhornetnoir.com, and you can link is in the description below if you want to click on that as well. Remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. Help me grow the channel out. And if you can subscribe, please do. And again, thanks for watching, guys, and you guys have an awesome week. All right, bye-bye.